Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Black Heart, Black Mind, Black End. Again, hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I tried to keep this short multiple times before. I've erased it. I'm going to try to keep it short this time, make it sweet. So I'm going to start by telling you all a story from my childhood that has to do with what I'm getting at right now. My childhood enemy was a bully, coward, punk. He ran from fights anytime he stood a chance of losing. If they were from a rough neighborhood, so they was quick with them hands, he would run even if they were smaller. If they were his size, he'd run. If they were bigger, he definitely ran. He was a coward. I don't think he's grown much courage. Then it doesn't matter. If he proved that he was brave, then he has to be childish enough to start a fight. So then he's immature. If he never starts a fight, then he's mature for his age, but he's still a coward to me. So he's in a lose-lose situation. I'm one of those that he was not afraid of. So yes, I was insulted. You could say I was butthurt, but I'm right. Now, I haven't gone as an adult and looked to take it out on him. But 3 times in youth, we fought. First 2 times he won. Last time he gave up. He surrendered. And he saved himself because I was armed and I was going to put him in a coma or kill him. I was not going to let him win. Back then, you didn't have to have a passport to leave the United States. And I didn't care if I never saw the United States again because I knew the culture was ucked up. I could have easily gone into Latin America, hit out there, and I would not have been sent back to the United States if I killed them. Because they don't do that. So I wasn't going to face American justice for anything I did to him at that point. I had this well thought out. I was going to get even, make this nigga pay, and I was never going to pay anything for it. Plus, I had friends who were going to say it was self-defense. So at the end of it all, he surrendered, and that's what saved him. He didn't know that I was armed. He just got lucky. And I think God was really saving me more so than saving him. But the thing was that the grudge I had with him, and I carried it for years, it's not the biggest grudge I've got. The biggest grudge I have is actually with the black community of my hometown that validated and upheld and celebrated this ignorant coward nigger. And I'm not going to forgive my community to this day, to be honest with you. I wouldn't care if a terrorist outfit came into my hometown and ruled the white and black communities, as long as they didn't single out black, walaikum salam, as long as they didn't single out the black community for any harms and mistreatments, I wouldn't care. I would never, I wouldn't protest at all. And if there was any, black insurgency going against them, I would say, no, you need to just go ahead and obey the law. And that's the kind of stuff I talk, because that's how toxic them jigaboos are in my hometown. I don't support them. I support their right to not be singled out for mistreatment and to be treated fairly. Nothing else, pretty much, no. Because they ain't righteous. It's somewhat conservative, but not righteous. It is the environment that is my major enemy. And I admit that we have to accept that we created this ucked up environment. That's something we did. We're not the only ones that did it. We did have help from our major enemies, but we've done this. And when we know right from wrong, we just still won't do right in many cases. I don't care about somebody being 17 when they start fighting over neighborhoods and dumb stuff like that. You're too old to do that. I don't care about you being a teenager. You're old enough to know how dumb that is. Don't do that. Don't tell me that that's all you know. I don't want to hear that mess. Next, I'm saying this to say that if you all are upset because some of these ladies have been able to come into the space in which we say that we will no longer tolerate the games and the scams and the schemes of the wicked witches of the West, and they can come in and turn around and make more money than any of the guys can make, we have to admit, whether we can analyze their sincerity in another sitting. We can talk about that in another sitting. But whether they are sincere or not, and I think that there are different reasons or different sincerities for different ones. The point is that we created the environment in which they could do this. And these men sending these big old cash apps to these ladies so that they can make 1,000 in one live stream are not saying to them all the time, specifically, this is why I'm supporting you in what you're doing. Now, if you're going to say, look, I'm sending something to contribute because you are betraying the sisterhood and we're right and the sisterhood is wrong, so you've made the right choice and we're incentivizing that, and then I'm not going to knock a dude for sending that. He sent what's affordable to him. He's not simping. He's not hoping that he's going to get an offer of some free vag. And so therefore, he's clear cut about this. No, this is combat. You chose the right side and you're bringing information from the other side to undermine them. So we can win because we're right. End of story, and they're wrong. Then I don't have anything to say about them, but some cats, they just send it in however much or however little, and they don't say why they're doing it, and they don't make it clear to the listeners nor to the recipients. If it's not simping, it's too close. It's too questionable. We're the ones that are sitting up here sending them this. Do you think that they're getting this from the sisters they're betraying? We are sending them all of this. We are the ones saying here, 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 here. No statements as to why and how. None of that. We're just here, here. Take this. This is yours. Baby girl, you're so beautiful. Baby girl, you're so honest. You're so beautiful. That's not the question. And the thing is, at the end of it all, one of the reasons that the ones they're betraying can act so out of pocket is because you make financial support so easy. In addition to making the dingling easy, you make financial support so easy. Running around here and offering your genitals as easily as men have been doing, and I've said that this is part of the problem, is actually the root. We've made it too easy. But on top of that, we compound it because we then turn around and make our money too easy. It's not like when you spend your money on your relative and on your spouse or on a business partner. It's not like that. Or when you incentivize somebody who's on the wrong side of a conflict, betraying the wrong side and giving up information that's going to undermine them. That's not... See, though all of those things are very different from just sending them because you like what they're saying. It's not about whether we like it or not. It's about the environment we're creating. You think you're contributing to a person, you're also contributing to an environment. When I was coming up, the childhood enemy about whom I told you was largely celebrated and upheld by, first, the black women of my hometown, by extension, the guys. It is to the point this man has never worked a day in his life at a regular job and struggled like the rest of us. You know what he did for a living? He threw parties. He could rent out a space for a few hundred, spend a few hundred on liquor and a DJ, charge admission, and the women would pay to get in, and the guys would pay to get in with the women. I kid you not. And one day, I even said, the black community in my hometown is crap. And my father said, why do you say that? And I said, well, the litmus test, look who they supported. And my father asked me who, and I told him the childhood enemy. And my dad said, well, did you ever stop to think something? Maybe he did something that you and your other friends didn't do. And I said, yes, Dad, I have thought about that. And the thing is that whatever he has done since he got his business started is what he could have done and not failed, because frankly, the same ones that would stand outside his junk and wait and then pay would have never done that with us. We've done these things before. We've had people rented out spaces and things like that, try to charge to get in, and people won't come sometimes even if it's free. Then when they do, oh man, hook me up, hook me up, hook me up. And then somebody goes and opens the fire escape to let a crowd in so that they just rush in without paying, but then the party's live. No, they don't do this to him. At the end of the day, it boils down to the fact that the environment upheld him in a way they would not have upheld the rest of us that were more straight-laced and straight arrow. Why? Because he was cute to the women, he was a little taller, but more importantly, even before he even got that tall, he was cute to them and he could dance and play basketball. His entertainment value to the black women of our community was what gave him immunity from being a coward and then being an all-around jerk. Because believe you me, none of the rest of us were allowed to do stuff like that. Most of us to this day don't hold a grudge against him. We just don't respect him that much. But I am unique in that I do hold a grudge against the community because of the low moral standards and the hypocrisy that were necessary for them to validate and uphold someone so low as him and make him actually well off financially without ever having to work a job, while the rest of us struggled to pay rent before the economy got the way it was. We created that environment, and I left and won't go back. Except by force, maybe dead and beyond out of my control, or in violence. Or to visit, of course. Visits are fine. But to live there, no. If I went back, I probably would become a terrorist. That's why I avoid having to go back there and live. I had to go back to my city in which I grew up to live, and I'm not just independently wealthy and retired. Yeah, I probably would become one because of the hypocrisy of the jigaboos there. Now, I'm going to say this too, though, because this is not really about me. I'm just giving you all the lesson that illustrates this same pattern. This goes on in more than just my hometown, but we must understand, just like to a certain extent, I made my people pay, and they didn't even know. Just one person that left and never went back, they don't know the difference. But yeah, I did leave. And others who were of substance, TBM, left, and they won't go back to live there. They're not there now. There's one guy of substance that went, he went away to college, he graduated, he went back to the hometown. He's doing well. His wife from out of town is actually doing well. But you know what? He's got his kids in a non-black environment. They ain't gonna marry black. They're going to be absorbed by the majority population. That's the cost. That's the end of it. That's what's there. That's what's available for us. Because we created that environment that causes us to lose the better members. Because it is an environment that rewards the worst behavior. Well, that's the same thing we've done now here, financially speaking. That's on us. So I don't want to hear this stuff. I mean, you can say that it's a problem, but it's not necessarily something we can turn around and blame them for, per se. If they do wrong, we can get them for that. You catch them being insincere, sure, fine. Okay, yeah, you caught them in their insincerity. You called them on it when you caught them, and that's normal. But to blame them for the ability is fruitless. That's illogical. No, the ability is our fault. Their ability to come in and cash in so much overnight, that's on us because we're sitting up here paying it out. We're not getting paid like that, but we're paying out like that and getting nothing in exchange. Unless, of course, you send only what you can afford and you say this is to incentivize you continuing to betray your former team or your default team because they're wrong. Okay, there you go. I think I've said enough. I think I've explained it. Last time took me 30 minutes, but, I think you get the idea. Stop creating the environment that you hate. We've said this to them, and we're right. And now this is a situation in which at least the ones who have cashed in here have the right to turn around and say this to us if we're going to dig into them for something that we made available. Thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Black heart, black mind, black out. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. And by the way, black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day, just because they don't like it.